right. Well, good day to you, anybody who is watching this video. My name is Mike. I am a math teacher. I teach GED preparation, so high school equivalency classes for IU 13 in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And if you're one of my students who missed a class, good job coming to try to get caught up. If you are not one of my students, here is what you can expect. I'm going to be going over a second method for how to deal with adding and subtracting integers, which are positive and negative numbers. This is primarily for people in my class. However, sometimes you learn better from somebody else. So if you're taking another class somewhere and it hasn't made sense and you watch my video, please give it a like, give it a comment. But I'm not really doing this for likes, comments. I'm really doing this for my students who may have missed class. So if you like it, I would absolutely love to receive my first nice comment. But I haven't gotten any bad ones yet either, but that's because very few people watch my videos. As you can see, I don't have a huge amount of production quality. So let's get right to it. So the first method, if you go on the Math Miker channel, you will find that we talked about thinking of positive money and negative money. So negative numbers as money you owe people, positive money as money that you have in your pocket, in your purse, in your bank account, and then putting those two values together to figure out what your answer is. Today, we are going to look at a slightly different way to do this. We're going to look at it as if we're being told to follow directions on a number line. So we're going to do the same exact questions as we did yesterday with the money, or in the other video that we did with the money, but this time we're going to follow a very simple set of directions. When we have an expression, for example, we're going to do the first one first, 8 plus -3. Here are the things we're going to ask and we're going to look at. We're going to begin at the first number. So we're going to look at the first number, and that is where we are going to begin on the number line. So for example, in this problem, we are going to begin at +8. So we are thinking about starting right here at +8. The signs in between the two numbers are going to tell us to go left or to go right, because on a number line, those are your only options. You're either going to move to the left on the number line or you're going to move to the right. Of course, this is the right, that's the left. But yeah, you're going to move one of two directions. And then the second number, the second digit, we're not going to worry about the signs because the signs tell us which way to go. The second digit tells us we're going to move how many spaces. So in this case, 8 plus -3, we're going to move 3 spots. So we're going to move 3 spots away from +8. So our answer is either going to be 5 or it's going to be 11. That's it. It can't be anything else. And you'll notice that 5 is the difference of these two numbers. 11 is the sum of these two numbers. So our answer is either going to be +5 or -11. All right, I'm sorry, +11. Can't get to -5. There's no way. We're definitely not getting the -11 way down here. So the real question comes down to, what do these two signs together in this order tell us? Well, we're going to fill out a chart that's going to help us know which way we're going to go. And again, you're either going to go to the right on the number line, or you're going to go to the left on the number line. And we already know some sign combinations that go different directions. For example, let's get rid of this stuff up here. If I wrote a problem, for example, 5 plus 3, well, I'd start at the 5, I'd move 3 places. So I'd start here, I'd go 1, 2, 3, I'd end up at 8. So it looks like plus tells us we're going to go to the right. And that is correct. When you're adding and you have the addition sign in between your two numbers, you move to the right on the number line. Well, I hope that there's not too many people going, oh my gosh, I didn't understand that. No, we get that, right? We know that. Same thing as if you would go, say, 10 minus 4. You're looking at the sign, it's a minus sign. And then up here, you'd be starting at 10. You'd start right here at 10. You go minus 1, 2, 3, 4. You'd end up right there at 6. So it looks like minus tells us that we're going to go to the left on the number line. And of course, like, again, feel pretty confident everybody knows that. But if you just learned it, great. So this is what we're thinking of now with integers. We can get some much more interesting combinations than just plus or minus. For example, we could add a negative number. So that's a plus minus. So if you add a negative number, that is basically the same as just subtracting it. Because if you add, for example, going back to method 1, the fact that you owe somebody $3, you're going to have less money. And our answer is to this problem, we have 8 and we lose 3, subtract 3, owe 3. 8 and owing 3, paying 3, subtracting 3, however you want to look at that, is going to be equal to 5. So adding a negative goes to the left. Adding a negative goes to the left. So that's our second box that we're going to fill in down here for left. If you add a negative, you go to the left. So that's a sign that tells you go left. Minus, adding a negative, adding a minus also goes to the left. Let's take a look at the other way. What would be the difference really if we wrote 8 minus 5, but put a positive in front of it? What if we wrote 8 minus positive 5 instead of just 8 minus 5? Well, we know 8 minus 5 is 3, but 8 minus positive 5 is also 3. It doesn't matter if you call that a positive or not, because here we're just assuming it's a positive 5. 8 minus 5 is 3. 8 minus positive 5 is 3. Does not make any difference. So subtracting a positive also takes you to the left on the number line. So there's 3 ways. There's 3 things that you're going to see. To go left, minus, plus a negative, and minus a positive. You might be noticing there is something that these 3 all have in common with their signs. Take a second, see if you can think about what do you notice about the sign combinations for all 3 of these, which are essentially the same problem. Okay, so hit pause, see what you can do. All right. If you hit pause, here's what I wanted you to notice. This has one, ooh, I tried to change it to red. Let's go, red. Red, hello. All right, there we go. 1 minus sign, 1 minus sign, 1 minus sign. If you have 1 minus sign, you go left. Whether it's minus, positive, plus negative. If you have 1 minus sign, you're going to the left on the number line. Okay? So that's one way that you can tell that you're going to go to the left. Minus, minus, minus. All right. Now, of course, the more you do this, the better you get at it, the more sense it'll make. But let's see about going to the right. Well, we have a couple ways that we can go right. We know that if we just have a plus, we go to the right. But there are other ways that you end up going to the right. So let's take a look at them. And of course, there's some combinations we haven't tried. So let's just start with something that we know, 6 plus 5. 6 plus 5 is equal to 11. So we're starting at the 6. We're going to the right. And we're moving 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we end up at 11. Piece of cake, right? What other sign combinations could we put in here? Well, we're back to the concept of you have your sign, but then you're assuming that that second number is positive. Well, you could stop assuming and just write positive. So you could, not that anybody bothers to do this, but you could write 6 plus positive 5. Well, that also equals 11. All right, because positive 5, so plus a positive. So that is another sign combination you could have. It's a little bit redundant. Actually, it's a lot redundant, and you don't see it very often, but you get a plus a positive. You're adding a positive, you're still going to the right on the number line. Now, here's where I want you to pause. What are we missing? We have minus, positive, plus negative, plus positive, minus positive. What are we missing? Hit pause. And the thing that we're missing goes to the right on the number line. All right. So what are we missing? We're missing minus and negative. Now, this is the one that gets everybody. Gets everybody who does math. 6 minus a negative 5 equals positive 11. It goes to the right. Now, this is, of course, a little bit tricky to understand. So let's see what we can do with this. Why does it go to the right? Why does subtracting a negative go to the right? Well, here's one way you could think about it. You could just say to yourself that minus, and this is what most teachers will tell you, minus a negative equals plus a positive. And you could say that, I don't know, if you say that 50 times or so, you'll probably remember it. Minus a negative is plus a positive. Minus a negative is plus a positive. Just do that about 50 to 100 times. And every time then you see minus a negative, you're going to say, oh, minus a negative, I can go plus positive. It's the same thing. Well, that's true. The problem with that is it doesn't explain why it happens. So here's my best attempt to tell you why this happens. If you had 6 minus 5, you would go to the left. The negative sign can also be read as the opposite of. So you have here a 6, and you have the opposite of negative 5. Well, if it's the opposite of negative 5, that's positive 5, because here's negative 5. The opposite of negative 5, here's negative 5. The opposite of negative 5 is over here. It's positive 5. So we're literally saying 6 minus the opposite of 5, or 6, the opposite of negative 5. Either way, it's the same thing as plus or plus positive. So minus a negative equals plus a positive, and that fills out our chart. And these are the only combinations that you can have. This is it. The only thing you can have between two integers is these 6 combinations. These 3 tell you to move right. These 3 tell you to move left. So now let's do some problems. We will keep that chart handy just in case. As I throw each problem up on the board, I would like you to pause the video. Do your own problem, draw your own number line, figure out what you want your answer to be, and then check the answer, make sure it's correct. All right, that's the best way to use these videos for actual practice. All right, so let's get back to a color we want, a line we want. We should be good. All right, so here we go. We'll start with a real confidence builder. 50 minus 5 equals, all right. Well, you don't have to pause too long for this one. If you started at 50, so you begin at 50, you are moving left or right? Well, minus is move left. So 50, way out there on the number line somewhere, you're going to go left of the 50, 5 spaces, you are going to end up at 45. It's 50 minus 5. We've got that one. Let's go to the next one though. 11 minus negative 2 is equal to. As soon as you see minus a negative, you immediately are going to change that to plus positive. It's just going to make your whole life easier. You see minus and negative, two negative signs directly next to each other. I'm not talking about minus signs out here in front of the 11. That doesn't matter. You see minus negative, you change it to plus positive because it goes to the right. And now you've got starting at 11. We're going to go to the right 2 spots. 1, 2. There's our answer. 13. 11 minus negative 2 equals 13. Okay. Let's keep rolling. Follow the directions. Negative 1 plus 2. Now, these types of questions get people in trouble all the time. There's lots of ways to tell people how to solve this. However, we're talking about following directions. So we're going to start at negative 1. We're going to start right here. Which direction are we going to go? Well, it's plus. That's to the right. How many spaces are we going to move? We're going to move 2 spaces to the right. 1, 2. Right there's the answer. We started at negative 1. We went to the right 2 spaces. We are at positive 1. And that's it. That's all we're doing with this whole method. We are just following the directions that the signs are telling us to do. And the simpler you keep this, the easier it gets. All right, now eventually though, you want to picture this in your head. You don't want to actually have to do it on the number line, but for a while you can. Nothing wrong with it. Negative 4 minus negative 5. All sorts of negative signs here, right? But as soon as you see minus and negative, you do what? You're going to change it to plus a positive. So minus negative becomes plus positive. Now, that does not do anything to this negative sign here. That's fine. That's where we're starting. We're starting right here. We're starting at negative 4. We're going to go to the right. We're going to move 5 spaces. Now, the first 4 spaces get us back to 0. The last space is going to get us to here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces to the right of negative 4 is positive 1. Just following directions. Next question, 8 minus negative 2. So you got 8 minus negative 2. And you immediately again change it to plus a positive. Now we've got 8 plus 2. We're starting at 8 right here. We're going to the right 2 spots. 1, 2. And we end up at 10. It's 8 plus 2, 10. All right. We are getting there. Now remember, these are the same questions we did yesterday with money. Slightly different method. 6 minus 9. So we're going to start at 6, right here. Which direction do we go? Well, we have 1 minus sign. So we're going to the left. How many spaces? How many spaces? The last question. 9 spaces. Now the first 6 spaces is only going to get us back to 0. So we're going to go 6 spaces back to 0. We still got 3 more spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We got to move 9 spaces. 7, 8, 9. And we end up at negative 3. Now you'll notice that between 6 and 9, it's either going to be an answer of 15. You're either going to put these numbers together or you're going to subtract them. And in this case, you're finding the difference, and you're going to end up with a -3 because the -9 is bigger than the +6. So you're going to end up at whichever positive or negative, whichever one's bigger. All right. Or you just think about those first 6 moves are only going to get you back to 0, and then you still have 3 more moves you have to make. All right. Final question on this pile is a little bit of a confidence builder. It is 2 plus 11. You're starting at 2. You're going 11 spaces to the right because it's addition. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And 2 plus 11 is 13. All right. We got our number 1 through 8 questions done. We've got our roadmap right here. I'm going to bring that up. We're going to do the slightly more challenging questions. So let me clear this. And then we are going to grab our road sign so that we can bring that on up. Make it a little bit smaller. And we're just going to stick that right up here in the corner. All right. Go ahead and save that in case something happens. All right, we're going to get rid of this. And I'm going to check something very quickly. All right. All right, here we go. Gonna move this over. Get some new questions. Here we go. Can they make it difficult? Well, they can try. -7. Now they have it in parentheses. That doesn't do anything. Still -7 minus a -3. This is where we start. We're going to start at -7. Which direction are we going to go? Well, that's where we look for these signs inside here. We see minus and negative. We know it goes to the right. We know we can change it to plus positive. So we do it. -7 plus +3. We know we're going to go to the right. How many spots are we going to move? 3. That's what that second number tells us. So -7. 1, 2, 3. We end at -4. And that's it. That's our answer. Going to the right of -7 to the right of -7 is -4 on the number line. -4 plus 6. Okay, we're starting this time at -4. We're going which direction? 6 spots. So we're starting here at -4. We're moving 6 times. The only question is, are we going to the right or are we going to the left? And that's where you're looking at this sign right here. And it's just a simple addition sign, which tells us we're going to go to the right. Now, if you go 6 spots to the right of -4, your first 4 are going to get you back to 0. And then you have 2 more spots, 5 and 6 to go. And you end up at +2. -4 plus 6 equals 2. All right, now I might be jumping in there too fast. So this time I'll make sure I give you time to hit pause. -15 plus -7. Write it down. Hit pause. Try it on your own. Got to do some on your own to make them make sense. Go ahead. Okay, hopefully you hit pause. You took some time, you worked it out. So let's see if we get the same thing. I want to start at -15. That's way down here somewhere, -15. Now, I can know it's there. And write a little neater. So -15 is down here. That's where I'm starting, right there at my first number. Now I'm looking at these 2 signs in here. These are the signs I'm looking for. I am not looking for the sign in front of the first number, just the ones in between. I've got plus and negative. That's right here. Plus and negative says I'm going to the left. Well, I'm in trouble here because I can't count 7 spots to the left of 15. So what can I do? Well, it's either gonna be the difference of these two numbers, which is 8. It's definitely not 8. 8's here and over here. Or it's gonna be these two numbers added together, which is 22. So since I'm going to the left of negative 15, I know it has to end at negative 22 because the answer is always either the difference or the sum of these two numbers. So if it's not an 8, it's not going to be an 8 over there. I mean, we're talking way to the left of the screen. It's got to be negative 22, and that's what it is. It is negative 22. All right, cool. Hopefully you got that one right. If not, get ready. Get ready for a new one. All right, here you go. Confidence builder, 36 minus 4. If you start at the number 36, minus goes to the left. You go to the left on the number lines. You're coming back this way. You move 4 spots. Where do you end up? What is 36 minus 4? All right, should be 32. 36 minus 4 is 32. All right. Good. Now remember, you can write your own number line anytime you want to help solve this kind of stuff. Negative 60 minus negative 10. Okay, let's think our way through it. We're starting way off the number line at negative 60. That's where we're starting. We are going minus a negative. Minus a negative is the same thing as plus a positive. So minus a negative becomes plus positive 10. So you got minus negative. Now we've got negative 60 plus 10. Because plus positive minus negative is all the same thing. So it's negative 60 plus 10. So if you start way out there negative 60, but you move back 10 spots to the right, what number is 10 spots to the right of negative 60? Think about it, hit pause, put it down, and then check back. So 10 spots to the right of negative 60 is negative 50. Right there. Now again, could you make your own number line? Sure. You can just do this. You can put a 0, you can put a negative 60, and then you could say, I'm going to go to the right 10 spots. Where do I end up at? Well, 60, you're going back 10 spots, that would be negative 50. It might be easier to see if you just take the time to draw a little number line. Does not have to be all inclusive. Doesn't have to be good, doesn't have to look nice. Just has to help you keep your mind on what you're doing. All right, negative 5 minus 6. Try this one on your own, and then click back and let me know what you got. Okay, starting at negative 5, going left. Okay, minus goes to the left, 6 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, one more, 6 would be negative 11. And that's exactly what it is. Negative 5 minus 6 equals negative 11. Hopefully, this is starting to really make sense about now. All right, well, 12 plus 13. I don't think we have to do too much with that. 12 plus 13, just regular addition. You're starting at 12, you're going 13 spaces to the right. You're going to end up at 25. All right, final problem. Starting at negative 55 plus 20 equals. So the question here is, what number is 20 spots to the right? You're going to the right of negative 55. Does not hurt to do this. 0. 20 spots. Think about it. What's 20 spots to the right of negative 55? Well, 10 would be negative 45. 20 would be negative 35. So it's negative 35. It is going to be the difference. It's still going to be a negative number. All right, so that's method number 2. Follow directions. This one is very straightforward. It's very simple. If you get good at it, it's very easy to follow those directions. The real key is you have to know what the signs are telling you to do. When you're not driving a car, you don't know what the signs mean, you're in a lot of trouble. All right, so you have to know what the signs are telling you. If you can do that and visualize a number line, then this method is going to work great for you. We do have one more method that you can throw in with the other two that really can make a difference and really help, especially with multiple choice. And we'll cover that on the next video. So this has been Mike for Math Miker for the IU 13. And I hope all my students who missed a class, I hope you're feeling better. I hope you get caught up. And anybody else out there, please, if you're not in my class, leave a comment. Let me know that you watched the video. And if you have a suggestion on a video that you need to watch, I love making these. I know they're not high production, but I like making them. And if you'd like me to make one just for you, all you have to do is ask, because I like it. All right. Have a great day and good luck getting your high school equivalency degree. Bye for now.